What's up, everybody? Episode number 6. Can't do it by my hands anymore. I've made it past the first 5, so I guess there's something to be said about that. I want to talk about bracing the car today. I got a time lapse of me making the rear brackets for the car, and I think it's a good example of how to make something decent but also quick. And that's exactly what I did for the bracing on these rear brackets. And then I want to kind of talk about, as I'm, the car's up there, right? And I'm cutting it away and I'm doing all this stuff. And I just kind of want to touch on some things that are moving, flexing, and why we're bracing stuff in general. So what we got, obviously you guys have seen by now, the whole floor, front to back. I got a little bit of the tonneau cut out, is all removed. Now, initially, all I did was I cut this rear trunk well in a small section right here where the back seat used to be. I added this bar here because what was happening is if I shook the car from driver's side to passenger side, these pinch welds would flex a little. Okay, but as soon as I tied it together there, that flex stopped for the most part. Then I got to the point of removing this wheel well over here. So this one's still in place, but all I did really was like rough cut this one out. And then the whole back of the car would move really easy from left and right. Because once you remove all that, there's nothing really holding the back of this thing together, right? It's just a single piece of stamped sheet metal. There's no braces from top to bottom. So this can move a ton. And what I ended up doing was adding some bracing back here. Now, this rear section here, I'm pretty happy with how I cut the rear section. And this is where the bumper goes. I'm going to try to keep these and use these as a upper bumper mount still. What I may do is put like a rev nut in here, probably in this center one right here, so that the bumper has a nice bolt here. And then I'll probably put some rev nuts back here so that I can just zip the bumper off fairly easy with like 3 spots. And then probably something in here as well that comes off of the rails from the cage will come kind of back here. And there'll be some small tubing that comes out and kind of structurally makes this sound. And that same piece will probably have a bumper mount. All right, so what I was getting at is when I cut this wheel well out, I could grab this and just move it side to side. Super easy to move. So I got this cut out to where I was happy. And I put 4 rev nuts in right here. And then I'll crawl in the car so we can see some better pictures, better angle. And I was planning on running some triangulated rod, and basically triangulated some rods on an angle. All right, I say triangulated because, I mean, if you extended them and everything, it'd be triangulated. And that makes sure if you made them straight, they could both evenly go left and right. But because I put them on opposing angles, it kind of structurally makes this sound and doesn't allow it to go this way. I made up some quick brackets here, and you'll see the video of that. Basically, I made a plastic template to drill these holes. So I just cut a piece of plastic that I'll actually just show you. So I took a piece of plastic. You see the 2 little spots up there. I took that piece of plastic and a auto punch and just punched through the plastic, drilled my holes, put my rev nuts in. Then, same piece of plastic, I took some steel and I made this like, triangular flat tip piece here, right? So it's just some straight section, tapers in, flat. I just used some, I think this may have been like 2 inch or something like that. And this was like 3.5. just something quick, some kind of quick measurements. And I take the same piece and I put it on that piece of steel to drill the holes. So in the time lapse, you'll see me trace it, cut it with my circular saw that has a metal Harbor Freight saw blade in there. That thing is badass. I cut all my high angle 2x2 quarter wall with that thing. So this was actually cut with that little circular saw. I love that blade. Then I use my table saw, my little band saw here from Swag Off-Road Table, and then Harbor Freight band saw. My Buck Tools sander. This is a direct drive, so it doesn't have a belt or anything. The motor direct drives to the sander. Pretty high torque for the cost of the unit. This is a relatively low cost. High torque, decent size flat surface to sand on. I really like that. Whipped up those brackets, drilled it all out. Bent them in my vise with a hammer.
Have I become a little too shy for love? I've been hurt before. All's fair in love and war. So I snuggle up close to the shell I'm living in. And if I let you in, another round begins. No, I'm spinning in a vicious cycle. I'm scared of doing something I'll regret. Maybe this is right, but I'm still staring at your silhouette. What if you're everything I need? A fire in my heart, the air I breathe. What if I'm incomplete without you by my side? What if I go against my heart instead of confessing from the start? What if I miss out on the life meant for us? I need you by my side.
Should I be scared? The feeling's so different now. You got me floating here, a feather in the air. Oh, but when the wind blows, will I tumble or sail away? Or would you have me stay? And what if I escape? I know
I'm spinning in a vicious cycle. I'm scared of doing something I'll regret. Maybe this is right, but I'm still staring at your silhouette. What if you're everything I need? A fire in my heart, the air I breathe. What if I'm incomplete without you by my side? What if I go against my heart instead of confessing from the start? What if I miss out on the life meant for us? I need you by my side, by your side. I'm not afraid. We found something that'll never fade. We can be ourselves and figure out the rest along the way. What if you're everything I need? A fire in my heart, the air I breathe. What if I'm incomplete without you by my side? What if I go against my heart instead of confessing from the start? What if I miss out on the life meant for us? I need you by my side. I need you by my side. I need you by my side.
And then just already had the holes drilled, bolted it up, and then just ran a piece of tube from point A to point B. I think I ended up cutting the tubing on my Evolution saw here. This is the cheaper model that they sell. I don't remember what it was actually called, but it's their like multi-saw. Oh, Rage 2, that's what it was. It was Rage 2. I don't even know if they make it anymore. But roughly a 15-degree cut, and it worked out good. I just wanted a little bit of an angle, enough to keep this thing stable, and it doesn't really move at all anymore. So that's exactly what I was looking for. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Just kind of talking about, you know, some different things and how I made a brace back there. But really the moral story is when you're tackling something like this and you're cutting out the structure of the vehicle, you have to pay attention to what starts to move. If things start to move, brace it as soon as possible, because the more you cut, the more things are going to move. And at a certain point, things can move and bend to a point where you'll be in trouble and you just won't be able to brace it properly. You'll have to basically re-square your body or part of your chassis, or even sometimes if you're just hollowing out a door and the door starts flexing, right, and you need to re-brace it and whatnot, just be careful. As you're cutting metal out of a car or car parts, pay attention to what's being able to be moved easily and what's not. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I should have another one out in 2 days like normal. You guys have a good night.